You know, dinosaurs are just such fascinating creatures. From the tiny Microraptor to the biggest Argentinosaurs, these beautiful animals that walked the earth millions of years ago have continued to captivate people around the world for over 2 centuries. Unfortunately, there are groups of people that deny the existence of these animals for reasons that are so delusional, it makes me so happy I stayed in school. The questions they ask could be answered by a dinosaur-obsessed kindergartner and claim the most absurd things. So after watching paleontologist Trevor Vail rip into a dinosaur-denying conspiracy theorist, I also wanted to call out these idiots and hopefully spread some light on how uneducated people can be. The general mindset of dinosaur deniers is, I don't understand it, therefore it is not real. This brain-dead ass mindset looks evident in this chick. Check it out.
Dinosaurs never existed. So you've got these bones, you've got these fossils, supposedly. And they supposedly date back millions of years. I think it's a bunch of nerds constructing this fantasy world that they think is awesome. Like, how do you know what the, skin of a pterodactyl looked like? How do you know what it sounded like?
Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Well, first of all, pterodactyls aren't even a real genus. Second of all, these quote-unquote nerds are people who have spent their entire life studying and learning about dinosaurs. Third of all, we have found skin impressions of dinosaurs, even a mummified nodosaur. And fourth of all, we take educated guesses based off of evidence we have. That's what's called the scientific method. A common trend of dinosaur deniers is that they'll try to write off these animals as fake because they sound so unusual to them, despite many of the animals that are well known today, such as crocodiles, elephants, giraffes, and whales, would sound like mythical creatures or so from, say, the Middle Ages. Hell, when explorers returned from the Komodo Islands to describe these giant man-eating lizards, nobody believed them. But turns out those were Komodo dragons, which are very well known today. So just because something may sound weird doesn't mean it's fake. I want you guys to listen to this stupid ass statement.
So why is it that the average Joe has never dug them up? Like, why haven't you or I or anyone we know ever found a bone?
Whoops, my bullshit detector just went off. There are a lot of things wrong with this statement. So, her claim of no disinterested person finding fossils is an outright lie, as average people have found dinosaurs all the time, mostly construction workers and miners. The most complete Tyrannosaur specimen, Sue, was found by a cattle rancher in South Dakota. Sinosauropteryx was found by a farmer in China, and recently a hiking family found a T-Rex fossil in North Dakota. Second of all, fossilization is very rare and requires many conditions in order to happen. Only sedimentary rocks are able to preserve remains of organisms, so any region with igneous rocks won't have fossils, and not everywhere is going to have dinosaur fossils located. For example, where I live, in New York, the youngest bedrock dates back to the Devonian period, long before dinosaurs even existed. And if you live anywhere coastal such as Florida or New Jersey, you aren't really going to find any dinosaur fossils, as the place was underwater during the Mesozoic because continental drift exists. I'll happily admit I'm no paleontologist, and if there's any information I may have missed, you guys are allowed to comment on that. But this woman definitely skipped class to work on her fake eyelashes, and anybody with a remote understanding of earth science, paleontology, geology, or whatever can prove her wrong. No half-baked conspiracy theory is complete without the stereotypical "the government did it" claim, and this certainly applies to dinosaur deniers.
If you want to keep your job, you come up with a Brachiosaurus skull. If you want to be truthful, you come up with whatever it was that I smashed apart to get this stuff. When millions of dollars are on the line, which one are you going to do? My guess is you're going to go with the Brachiosaurus. That's where the money is.
Why are conspiracies like this always focus on the what and never the why? Hey lady, if people are creating fake bones to dig up, why is that a specimen found in 2006 may not be described until, say, 2009? It can take weeks, if not months, to dig up a single fossil, and many may not know how freaking fragile fossils can be, as if you accidentally nick the wrong spot or sneeze wrong, it crumbles into a million pieces.
You're my paleontologist. Turn that into what it was before I ripped it apart.
No, everything you just said was insane.
What this woman seems to imply is that paleontologists only find tiny fragmentary remains and then just draw a whole animal from those. And while that may be true to an extent with some new species or just very obscure ones, we have found semi to near complete specimens such as the aforementioned Sue and the mummified ankylosaur. Besides, what does the government have to gain from making up these animals? Nothing! And where does the money come from? It's quite obvious that Dinosaur Deniers ain't the sharpest tools in the shed and really need to start using their critical thinking skills. Anyways, that's all I have for debunking these complete morons.